So, hi to you all from Holland. I'm Michiel I'm the media artist working on this 3D poetry editor project.
And I'm David Jonas. I'm the developer for the software.
And we're gonna try to make a quick video tutorial explaining how the program works. We're super curious what you all will come up with. Yeah. So, what is 3D Poetry Editor? It actually started with a project of the third collaborator who is not here now. This is Jon Sterle Ritland from Norway, who had contact with all of you. In the beginning, me and Jon worked on a project called Body Searches Poetry Machine, which was a project in which we put poems from Jon's book Body Searches with poetry about DNA. We put 12 of his poems in a program that visualized these poems in 3D and showed the different ways of reading and the underlying structures of the poems.
So with the 3D Poetry Editor, we try to create a tool, much like a text editor, in which you can write the poems directly in 3 dimensions and see how that affects poetry itself. So how does this look like?
Here you see a small screen recording from the program. As you can see, this is a poem by Jon. It is placed in a 3D world, a 3D space, and all the lines are connected to each other. There are notes in front of the text and lines in between, connections we call them, and text that is closer to the camera is bigger, as in real life objects behave.
Although we can move things in space, you can see that objects also move around freely, and that's because there are some physical forces at play, or at least a physical simulation of those forces. And these are the main forces that are at play in our 3D space. The first force that affects all the nodes in the system is a central gravity. And the central gravity pulls everything towards the center of our space. That makes sure that our poem will not expand out of control. Then each line of our poem, or each node, will push other nodes away. That's so that they don't end up in the same position, very hard to read, to kind of have some space in between each node. And the third and last force is the connections. So when two nodes are connected, they are attracted to each other, just as if they were connected by an elastic. And all these forces together decide how the nodes will move within the 3D space and how the whole poem gets organized in the end. So to open the program, all you need to do is to find the file that you've downloaded and uncompress it. For that, you just normally double click on it and you'll get a folder where you can find distributions for both Mac and Windows. You have to also decompress the one that matters to you, depending on what you're using, and you will get an executable application. You can see different types of files here. You have a configuration file. All these files that have extension 3DPFF are actual poems we've included for you to play with. 3DPFF stands for 3D Poetry File Format. That is the format that we've created to be able to save and load poems into a poem editor and eventually share them.
we want to note that the version that you will get and you will extract might have different poems than this one, but it will look very similar.
Exactly. Within that folder you will find a .app file that's an application for the Mac. If you're on the Windows, you will see an executable file that will be .exe. If you're on Windows, you should be able to just double-click that file and the program will open. If you're on Mac, you might have some security warning that will not allow you to open the program. So what you need to do is to either right-click or command-click or control-click on the file and select Open. That will give you the extra option of opening the program anyway. So then when you click Open, the program will start. The first thing you'll see is a configuration window where you can choose if you want to run it on a windowed mode or full screen mode, and the resolution that you want to run it on, and the graphics quality. If you experience that the program is running slow, then you can decrease the graphics quality. If your program is running fine, you can increase the graphics quality to get a better visual experience. Once you're configured and ready to go, you can just press play.
So here we are. This is the entry of the program, the main menu of the program. And as you can see, you can create a new poem, edit a poem, view a poem, or even quit. First of all, we're gonna start by viewing a poem. Once you click View Poem, you get this new window, and here you see the poems that are in the same folder as the program. I'm gonna open The Eldest Signs by Jon, and this will show you the poem.
To navigate in a poem, you can use your scroll wheel of the mouse to zoom back and forth. So you can get closer and further away from the poem in order to see the whole text. If you click anywhere on the background and drag, you can move your virtual camera around, so you can navigate left, right, up and down in the poem just by dragging on the background. If you want to read closely one of the lines of the poem, you can just click it and automatically you'll be taken close to that text. If you click anywhere in the background, that text will be unselected and you'll be able to move again freely. Besides that, you can move any part of the poem if it is in the way of reading, or if you want to have a better idea of how the poem is structured. You can just grab one of them, so just click on it and drag. That will move the text around. There is a possibility to rotate the whole poem. For that, you need to right click with your mouse and move left and right. If you do so, you'll see that the poem will rotate. This will give you a better idea of the 3D shape of your poem as it is right now. Once you release it, the forces take over again and the poem will behave as normal.
Next to moving with your mouse, you can also use the arrow keys for going right and left, and also for moving up and down. You can also combine these keys, I think, and then you start moving out of the way. And you can use the W and the S for moving forward and moving backward. So W for forward and S for moving backwards. it can be a bit confusing when everything is moving around on your screen. To help with that, we made the possibility to quit all the forces working. If you press F on the keyboard, everything becomes very still. The whole thing becomes like a solid shape. If you rotate now by right-clicking and then going left or right, you see a very steady shape rotating. And once you press F again, all the forces are in place again. And you see that this more natural, organic movement is happening again. We have put one more possibility for navigating through the poems in the program. You can enter this possibility by pressing the N on your keyboard, and this will select the first stanza or line that you have put in the poem. You can at this other point change which line is the first line in the poem. We will come to that later. When you select it, the connections turn red, and when you press the forward key, you will go to that next line. If you press the arrow keys, it will select different directions, and you can now move through the poem. This might seem a little bit not so intuitive in the beginning, but after a couple of times trying, this will be an easy way to navigate through the poem.
To create a new poem, first we need to get back to our main menu. To do so, all you need to do is press the escape key. That will bring you back to the main menu of the program, and there you can choose New Poem. New Poem will take you to an empty space where you can start writing your poem. To create a new line or a new node, you simply press the Enter key on your keyboard, and you'll see a new node appearing. There you can just type in the text. I'll just type line 1 of my poem, and I will press enter to create that line. So now we have a poem with just one line. If we want to edit that line, if I want to change something or add to it, I can just select that line and press the return key again. That will give me a cursor again where I can edit this line. You can also see that there is a hint on the bottom telling you that. If we press enter key again, it will commit that line again. If we want to create a new line, make sure nothing is selected. You can do so by just clicking on the background and press the enter key again. That will create a new node where you can type in your new line. I will call this one line 2. Besides writing in just one line, you can have multiple lines. If you press Shift Enter, you'll be able to add a line break, and then you can write on line 2 of your node. So once you press enter, it will be committed. If you want to create a connection between two lines, select the node that has the origin of your connection and enter connection mode. To do that, you press the C key. Press the C key on your keyboard, and you will see that once you have your mouse over another node, the connection will be shown. If you want to create that connection, just click your mouse on your destination node, and that will create your connection. So that connection now exists. To unselect, just press on the background anywhere. Let's create some more nodes to play with. So I press the Enter key to write, and I type line 3, Enter to commit, Enter again, line 4, Enter to commit, Enter again, line 5, and Enter to commit. I will zoom out a little bit using the scroll wheel of the mouse so I can see my whole poem. Now, let's say I want to make multiple connections here. I will select line 5 and press C to enter connection mode. Once you're in connection mode, your camera is free to move, so you can zoom out and you can see that you can hover over the different nodes, and you can click to create different connections, and you can keep clicking until you have all the connections done for that node. Once you're done, click on the background to go back to navigation mode. To delete a connection, you simply click on the connection, it becomes red, that means selected, and then you press the backspace key. That removes the connection. To remove a node, you select that node, press Enter to go and edit it, and remove all the text with backspace. Then when you press Enter, that node will disappear. If the node you deleted had any connections, those connections will be deleted as well. Once you're happy with your poem, there's only two last things to do. One is to choose the initial line of your poem. In this case, I would like my first line of the poem to be line 1. So I will select it and press the R key. The R key on your keyboard will make that the first line. You will not see any difference on the poem, but now when you enter navigation mode, as we've told you before, the first line to be selected will be line 1. You can press on the background to go back to navigation. And then we want to save our poem. To save our poem, we can use the shortcut keys Command S or Control S in Windows, Command S if you're in a Mac, and we'll give a title to the poem. In this case, it's giving me all the signs, which is not what I want. I want my new poem. You can name it whatever you want. It will be translated to a file name once you press save. So if I press save, now my poem is saved, and it will be saved in a file on the folder where your application is. Another way to save is if you press escape to go back to the main menu, you'll be given an option to save. So if you press the save button here, it will automatically save your poem and save it on a file.
The last button on the menu that we have to talk about is the Edit button, Edit Poem. This is exactly the same as New Poem in its functionality. The only difference is that you can open poems here that you already worked on. And after that, the functionality is the same. You can select lines, edit them, and save the poem and go back to the menu again. That almost wraps up our tutorial of the program. To quit the program, simply press quit, and this brings you back to the folder where you started. You can see now here that we have a new poem, and this file, this .3DPFF, the 3D poetry file format, is a file that you can send by email or by any other service. It's just like a JPEG photo or a text file, and we of course are hoping to get a lot of these files from you guys by email. So we're back. As you can see, the light has changed. This took a bit of time. We hoped to make a very short video tutorial. It's almost 20 minutes or more than 20 minutes. And now, this wraps it up.
Yeah, this covers pretty much everything about the program. We hope you have a lot of fun creating new poems.
You are the beta testers in a way, so you will encounter bugs. We hope not, but experience tells us that always when we make programs we have bugs. Please let us know. We will include an email in the emails that we send you. And for now,
We can
enjoy
also include
yourself.
one right here.
Oh yeah, we can include one right there. All right, that wraps it up. Enjoy the program, and we're looking forward to your response and your poems.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.